Hello everybody, I'm SJM. Welcome back to episode 26 of TFCR2. This will be the Homer Simpson episode where I am SMRT smart. We'll start off the episode anyways by noting that our sheep have regrown their wool, so that's good. It just takes time. I don't think it came from feeding them or anything like that, but I guess while we're thinking about it, it doesn't hurt to just grab this grain because I've got so much of it kicking around. Just getting rid of it at this point now is my main point, right? So if I can increase some of my familiarity there, that's great. So why am I so SMRT? Well, by thinking that I could outsmart the not only mod developers but also the mod pack developer in skipping processes to get an iron bucket. So I went to the whole trouble of making the melter, putting in gold, getting the stone bucket, casting the stone bucket cast, putting my iron in there, my iron ore, like you can just put in the nuggets that you get from mining it up. Like these work perfectly fine in there. The ratios get a little bit wonky and they're a little bit squirrely, so just so you guys know that. It's pretty easily handled by just, you know, you got a couple of millibuckets left over, you just break your melter and then that'll void off whatever's in there and then you can go ahead and remelt. So if we take a look at the bucket in the casting, we need 27 nuggets or 432 millibuckets of molten iron. During this whole process, I never bothered to think that that isn't molten wrought iron. So all of that melting that I did, I ended up with 3 ingots of molten wrought iron, which won't pour. Won't give us the iron bucket that we're looking for. So now I've got 3 ingots of iron in here and nothing to do with it. So we'll just hit U and we can take a look at some of the uses, and all of this requires, you know, I would need to get more gold in there to get an ingot cast or a gear cast, or get clay in there so that I could do this, some of these clay casts, or these are sterling silver, but rose gold also makes casts, brass makes casts, clay obviously makes casts as well, but those are one-shot uses. But then I got down to the last pages of the list here, and I noticed that we can actually just put molds in there. And so that kind of came a way for me to use up those 3 ingots that I got in there. So if you really hate using the forge or the anvil for making your items, I guess this is a way to do it, although you're gonna burn through your lava pretty quickly. And well, we want to make sure that one of the first things we do with the lava that we get is access to making a bucket. So I got, okay, yeah, javelin head. So I decided to make a javelin, a shovel, and a knife with what I got. So the second one at least poured out correctly, but the first one and the third one poured out really strangely in there. So I guess just something to note there. Now the reason I made this javelin head, as you guys might remember from a previous episode, I said I found the javelins were pretty useless overall, but we may find a use for them with the attachment. So if we just go to the use here, if we surround it with jute fiber, we can get the rope javelin, which I think this might be a little bit more useful for us. So as I noted before, we got a few nuggets left over in there of the molten iron. Just break your melter, put her back down. That's voided off. And then I can now try the other thing that I wanted to try in there, which would be melting down some of this non-silica sand. So let's just take one of these schist sands and see. It's melting, so should go to a 1-to-1 ratio. We'll find out here in a second. We'll just put our casting basin down, and then if this saves me from ever having to make potash again, I will be a happy SJM. Because this potash, the biggest problem I have with the potash and the whole process to make it is it only has one use. The only reason ever to go through the whole process to make potash is to make your glass in this stupid TFC smeltery thing. So in my opinion, if this works the way I think it'll work, then we'll just get a block of glass for every schist sand we get there. We might have to make a few clay buckets to keep lava topped up in our melter or in our seared gauge, but that is what it is. I'm not too fussed about that at all. If we can just, ever skip having to make potash ever again in our life. Just, it sucked up like, what, 12 or 15 coal for me to make the potash that I had to make. It sucked up a bunch of time, a little bit of, putting down all those logs and making the sawdust, that whole pain in the butt. Just a horrible, horrible process. Can't say enough bad things about the potash, all for one use. There was a bunch of different things we needed potash for. Sure, I can understand, taking a couple of hours and going through a process and making a stack of it so you can use it moving forward, but just absolute wretched crap that you needed all that just for one thing. So I'm just going to put my backup tools into my backpack now. So glad I got that backpack. Just such a great thing. I obviously have the gold now, so I just got to, throw my melter or throw my crucible down back on my forge and get myself some gold ingots, and then I can make the gold upgrade for the backpack and get even more storage in there, but I don't need it just yet, so I just haven't gone to that point yet. So yeah, we get a block of glass out of that, so that's perfect if this makes the tinker's glass. I think I pointed this out in the previous episode where I made the tinker's glass, broke it with our hand, and we got a shard of glass out of it. Like, this is infinite. So if you really are asked to do this enough, like, just bang right there, I made 3 more blocks of glass just by doing that, and then I just have to kind of throw it back in here. And this works in this too, so I guess we could just do it in there with those, if you really wanted to cheese your way through it. But for me, I'm just going to finish off doing those glass things. I guess the other thing that we could look at here is we've got this tinker's glass, so how do we get to regular glass with it? If for some reason you like the look of Minecraft glass or you want some of the other chisel variants, the answer is obvious there, where you just get yourself the chisel and you, the chisel option isn't even there. I swear there was a chisel. And I'm not talking about the Terrafirmacraft chisel, I'm talking about the chisel. I swear it should be able to do glass in here. I'm not going through 240 pages with it on a video for you guys, but it should be in there if you wanted to get to Minecraft glass. Here, let's go to here. Use. Yeah, it's not there, so strange, but you might be able to find it in that 240 pages if you are so inclined to go through them all. If we can just look at the regular glass here, where would you, oh, maybe you can put the glass block mold down on top. Well, see, here's the chisel, yeah. So the chisel will give you all these different variants there. Some of them are pretty neat. I've played with them in the past there, like the Chinese glass. The Japanese stuff was definitely pretty weird. I didn't like that so much. Chinese glass is all right. It's, you know, when you put it into a big window, it gives it a nice framing. So that is that. What else were we going to cover in today's episode? Oh yes, I remember now. So the next steps that we're going to be getting to is steel. So I've got this in here. So next step in the Iron Age is steel made from pig iron. The way to get pig iron is in the blast furnace. The blast furnace requires 4 firebrick blocks, a whole ton of wrought iron sheets, a double sheet of any tool metal, 2 crucibles, and a bellows. And then the reason why you need 2 crucibles is you'll need 1 crucible down below and then a blast furnace on top of that. And it does give you the structure in here, and we get the visualizing handy dandy thing here as well. So if we can just put that down on that block there, and then that'll, oh, I didn't mean to put it up there. I originally had it down here. So unvisualize, revisualize. So let's just say we're putting it there, and it just gives us the layout of how we do it all. So you'll need a placer block, and just have to remember you put down your regular crucible, then your blast furnace, and then you'll need a piece of smooth stone or other non gravity affected block there so that you could put your fire bricks around it. And you can make this multiple heights high like our bloomery here as well, but you'll need 4 more fire brick blocks as well as 12 more wrought iron sheets, because we've got to put iron sheets on each of these. Can't see them too well here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 edges on all of those guys. So I don't know how that works out to be 28. I guess when I start throwing it all together, we'll find out. So how do we get to all of this stuff? So we'll just go back here because I don't think I went through this earlier in the last episode when we got our smeltery firebox. Not too hard here. The new thing added in is the Firebricks. Like, we just do the long iron rods and the iron sheets on the anvil. Firebricks. So that's made from unfired bricks, which is from fire clay napping. So you just need to make fire clay, do this pattern. You'll get 3 Firebricks for each recipe. It's pretty odd because the ratios are way off, but I did up a fair sized batch of it. So each fire clay gets you 3 Firebricks. So just note that. I've used up all of my kaolinite now, so I'll have to go get more before I can get any more. And I've only got 6 iron sheets right now of the 28 I need to get started. So we're a ways off from getting there, but that's some grinding I will do off camera. And I was going to look at, is it in my backpack? Oh, here they are. here's all the fire bricks that I got. So I got 14 left over. And then so each of the fire bricks that we need does take 5. And then we'll need this mortar stuff. So mortar is another little bit of a rabbit hole. We'll need lime water, which is pretty easy. Then you put sand inside. Does it have to be a specific kind of sand? Accepts any sand. So yeah, it doesn't need to be any special kind of sand. So 1 bucket of lime water will get you 10, so 160. 1 bucket of lime water gets you 160 mortar, because 1 sand plus 1/10 of a bucket of lime water gets you 16 mortar. So you can make that by the ton. You don't have to worry about that too much. It is just a process. Lime water is just, 2 flux to 1 bucket of water will get you 1 lime water. Or you could just put, 1 flux in, make a half a bucket of lime water, and I don't know how that'll work exactly. I haven't tried doing partial buckets in any of my barrels yet, so that would be something to try and see how it all works out. But that's why I was glad that I grabbed, what am I looking for? All of this myelinite stuff when I did do my flight out to out that area to where I did find my flux rocks, so I don't have to make that trip too often anymore. So yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to cover in this episode. I hope you enjoyed. Enjoy your cheaty way of getting glass back out of it before. I don't know if that's an intended thing to do for you to just experiment and find out, or if it's unintended and you're only supposed to get the glass shard back out from breaking one of these Tinker's Glass. But in every other pack that I've ever played, Tinker's Glass always breaks back to its block form, which is one of the main advantages, other than it being absolutely clear, unlike most of the other glass that we find in Minecraft. Yeah, once again, I appreciate any comments if I've missed something. I appreciate you all anyway. Thanks for the views, and we will see you in the next one.